love you, I care about you, but they're sitting you on the side and they're being bullies. Another bully you have to understand is a narcissistic bully. It's all about me. That describes a bully, that everything's about them. I mean, everything's about them. It's all about them. They don't care about nobody else at all. And the third one is the crowd pleaser bully. These are the ones that runs in packs. These are the ones that form groups. These are the ones that form gangs. These are the ones that say, listen, we should all get together and do this, and that person's doing this. There's these kind of bullies in the house of God as well. Now, I want to show you some things. I think it's important, because if you are a bully or you have been bullied, I think we have to understand what happens to a person that is bullied. And I say this because not only do our kids suffer from people like this in school, I think it's very important that we look at our kids, that we look as a husband, as a wife, that we look as children and teenagers. Do I bully my mom? Do I bully my wife? Do I bully my husband? Are my kids being bullied? Or am I being a bully, being involved in ministry? Am I being a bully walking in the house of God? Am I a bully to somebody that I love? And what I want to do today is show you in the mind of a bully. So look at this says in the mind of a bully. First of all, in the mind of a bully, how a bully thinks, he sees you at fault. You're the person that provokes him by just being in the world. I want to give you in the mind of a bully. They see you at fault. They see you that you're the reason why, that you're provoking them. Just you being in the world, you do that. Number two is he sees you as a potential threat to their domain. That means a bully sees you as a potential threat to their domain. Letter C sees you as a weak and helpless, irresistible target. Like wet cement, they cannot pass by without leaving their footprints in you. And letter D, they sees you as a testing ground for their power. How far can they go before they're being stopped? Now, a bully will keep on going until they're dealt with, until they're confronted. This is why it's very important that we understand this. Also, you have to understand, letter E, they see you as a handy opportunity to get attention and the following of others. Now, how many know we don't want to be bullies? We don't want to do these things, but I want to give you the mind inside of a bully. Some of your little minds are going like, he's a bully. And you're seeing these things. But I want us to get help. I want us to be strengthened. Not only that, but it can kill the house of God. It can kill the church of God. Now, I want you to understand the bully's motivation. His desire is to dominate. His desire is the need for control. A bully wants to dominate. A bully needs and has a desire to control. That's what a bully's motivation is. Now, another thing you have to understand is that this is a desire to dominate and a desire for control, but I want you to begin to see what bullies do to people today. And this is what a bully does, the emotional and the physical effects of being a bully. We should not want to be bullies at all. It should help us if we would want to get help for a bully. Or it should help us to say, man, if I am being bullied, I don't want none of these things happening to me at all. And this is what you have to understand. Number one, it distorts self-image. There must be something wrong with me because I'm seeking out to be bullied. And this is what you have to understand. When someone's being bullied, they're thinking like, something must be wrong with me then. And their self-image begins to get destroyed. Another thing is that the flood of emotions and terror come into their lives. And I tell you what, I always tell people, a scared man will kill you. You know, you don't worry about the person that's out there, but a scared man, they will pull a trigger on you. They'll kill you. And this is what people don't realize. When a person is being bullied, they'll go to different extremes. They'll go to a point, they'll go into panic mode, they'll go into terror mode, they're going through all kinds of emotions. And I'm saying all this because we don't want to ever bring this on anybody's life at all. We don't want this ever happen to our children at all. But also, you have to understand, anxiety attacks and depression hits a life when we're bullied. When a person is bullied, these are the emotional and the physical effects of being bullied. Another thing happens, difficulty of trusting others or even feeling safe. And this happens to a person. They don't feel safe. They don't trust nobody at all. Another one is they withdraw. They isolate themselves. There's avoidance behavior. Don't want to go to school. Don't want to go to work. Don't want to go home. Don't want to go to church. Another one is imploding self-injury, alcoholism, drug abuse, illness, high blood pressure for children. They wet the bed and all kinds of things begin to happen inside their life. Another one is exploding irritability, leading to outbursts or violent behavior. And these are things that, if I was making somebody go through all that stuff, man, it'd make me want to change. And I'm going to stop being a bully. It'd make me want to say, God, help me, God, because I don't want to see people lives begin to be destroyed. Another one is growing pessimism and a sense of impending doom, where all they start seeing is all the ugly stuff. All they start seeing is that there's no way out of nothing. All they start seeing is doom and gloom, and they don't see the power of God in their life at all. Another one is difficulty concentrating on work, services, or academics. That means they can't do the will of God. They're being bullied. They can't do their work, their homework. Another one is interruption of sleep or difficulty going to sleep, extreme watchfulness, monitoring or surrounding. They're always looking over their back. They're always thinking, is this person going to come? And another one you have to understand is suicide ideas or behaviors. And this is what happens to a lot of people when they're being bullied. This is what happens to many lives. So if you're a husband and you're a bully, these things happen to people. If you're a wife and you're a bully, there's a lot of wives that beat up their husbands. If you're like that, I tell you, this is what happens, what goes on. If your kids are being bullied, these are the things that take place as well. And you look at it, how did Christ handle bullies in his life? Well, first of all, Christ forgave bullies, but he didn't trust them at all. He forgave them. But he didn't put himself around them. Another thing that Christ did was he kept his distance when in danger. Another thing that Christ did, you have to understand, he concentrated on his goals, salvation of souls. He didn't let the bullies stop him from what God had to do in his life. There were many bullies in Jesus' life, and yes, he forgave them, even on the cross. You remember what he did? Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. I mean, they bullied him, they came against him, they did all those things. Another one you have to understand, he refused to give them status. He refused to let them have power, and he refused to lift them up where he was at. Another thing, he stood up for those who were bullied. He always stood up for those who were bullied. You gotta be heroes. What the world needs today are heroes. I never forget, but I remember telling a guy one time, he sat there and watched this girl get beat up. And this girl got beat up by her husband. And I remember he sat there, and I came up to this guy, and I rebuked this guy. I go, how dare you beat up your wife? Let your girlfriend beat up your wife. How dare you do that? And I rebuked the guy for doing that. I'll never forget, the guy's dad came up to me, and he told me, how dare you rebuke my son? How dare you do that? I said, how dare you don't do nothing about your son letting his girlfriend beat up his wife? How dare you allow that? I said, what would you suggest I do? He said, you should have minded your own business and walked the other way. I said, you know what, God help you, because we're called to be the salt and the light of the earth. And if somebody was beating you up, brother, I would get in there. I'm not saying I'm going to bomb on them, but let me tell you something. I would grab that person, I would toss him like a salad, and I would get him off of you. I would not allow that guy to hurt you or to beat you up. You are called to be the salt and the light of the world. And the reason why the world the way it is, because people like you don't do nothing. They allow evil to triumph. Let me tell you something. What the world needs is heroes nowadays. People that will stand up for the weak. People that will stand up for those that are hurting inside their lives. Now, the guy got upset, but that's too bad. I had to do what he didn't do to his own son. And it's very important that we understand that bullies, I'm not saying to go out there and beat people up, but I'm saying you got to confront a bully and say what you're doing is wrong inside your life. Another thing you have to understand and know today is that never assume the victim role. I mean, Jesus never assumed the victim role. He was always the victor. He's the one, when you understand when he was crucified on the cross, he allowed at a certain point in time, he's the one that let himself die on the cross, but he never literally took the role of a victim. And that means he didn't let his enemies or his bullies take his life or take rule of his life. Now, it's very important we understand that we break free from the method of bullying. And I just got a little acrostic today, breaking free. And break free, it means be bold, not timid. And let me tell you something, if you're going to ever stand against any bully, you're going to stand for righteousness. I'm not saying to leave this place and you start beating people up, but I'm saying if your son's a bully, you're a bully, or you're dealing with bullies, or somebody's bullying you, this is the way that you have to understand. Be bold, not timid. Recognize your strengths. Empower yourself and find use of your voice. You have every right to say, listen, I'm a man of God, I'm a woman of God, and I don't deserve this at all. It's very important that you begin to understand and use your voice, but you avoid traps as well. Jesus avoided many traps. You keep your distance. There's times that I say, listen, I'm not going to go around that person because that person's going to try to provoke me, or that person is a bully. You might have to do certain things. But another thing is forgive bullies. Don't trust bullies. And what I mean by that is forgive them. But it doesn't mean go have coffee with them afterwards and say, hey, go have coffee. But you might have to say, listen, I forgive you, but it just means that me and you can't roll like this no more. Another thing you have to understand, refuse to be intimidated by bullies. Don't let bullies intimidate you. And list help and support, because sometimes you might not be able to do it, but you can enlist help. You can say, hey, can you go with me to talk to this person? Hey, can you help me to do this with this person? Sometimes a person can act like King Kong. You get somebody else next to you and say, listen, can you just help me, support me, not beat them up, just can you be there so I can talk to this person here? You might need help. You might need support. Many wives, many husbands go through those things, and you can get help and support for that. The other thing is evaluate your life goals and live them. That means know who you are in God. Know where you're supposed to go inside your life. Now I say all that because the first thing I want to literally look at today, there's three kind of bullies. I'm only going to deal with one today. But number one is the backdoor bully. They make you feel like that they're friends. And this is something you have to understand, because this spirit can come into the church real easy. This spirit, this backdoor bully can come in the house of God real easy. And you have to understand, this kind of bully, it makes you feel like they're your friends. They make you feel like, man, I love you, and man, I care for you. You see, not all bullies have in-your-face approach. A lot of bullies mostly get in your face, and after they get right in your face. This kind of bully doesn't get in your face. This kind of bully is the kind of bully that says, man, I care about you, bro, and I love you, bro, and how are you doing? And you look good today, man, I like your haircut. This kind of bully gets real close to you. This kind of bully is dangerous because they have no intention of letting you have no intention of letting you to the front door. And that means that you know better. If you can see this bully coming, you wouldn't let him come in at all. But this bully is kind of hard to see because they come the back way. This is a dangerous kind of bully because most likely these are the ones that come in the house of God. These are sneaky bullies. They use tactics to make you feel like you're comfortable. They make you feel like they're your friend and so forth. The backdoor bully will smile at you and say, I love you, but they really don't at all. Now I say all this because, listen, we have people like this everywhere. There's people like this at our houses, at our homes, or at our work areas, or in the house of God. And our job is to say, listen, I don't want to create bullies. If we're going to build the kingdom of God, we're going to build strong families, we're going to care about our community, we can never be a backdoor bully, or backdoor bullies have to be dealt with. These are usually passive-aggressive people attacking and with plenty of deniability. That means that they'll deny things. They'll say, I didn't mean it like that. Oh, you took me wrong. These are people that you have to understand is that they come at you, but they'll deny things inside your life. That they deny things, but their motives are evil. Backdoor bullies, you have to understand, use being familiar, being humorous. They're the ones that say they'll make a joke with you, but at the same time, they just stuck you right in the mouth. And nobody else knew, but you and them knew. You ever see one like that? But nobody else knows. They just gave you a side punch real quick, and you look at them like, wow, why would you tell me that? Why would you say that for? These are the kind of bullies that what they do is they use being familiar. They're humorous to you. They set you at ease, and when all your defenses are down, they spring up and they begin to trap you. They spring up and begin to hit you. They begin to make remarks to you, things. They humiliate you. They badger you. They can count on no one challenging them, because no one challenges them because they feel like, I love that person. This is what happens to a lot of bullies. Say like I was bullying Steve. But I was bullying Steve, but I told him, yeah, I love your husband, Steve. And you can never, they get away with this kind of bullying because to Steve, I'm saying, I love you, but at the same time, I'm bullying you. And to everybody else, it looks like everything's fine. And you don't never challenge these kind of people because they leave behind you like I care about Steve.